Hello, hello. Who's liking the tunes? Hello, hello, Thrift fam. And there's 9 of you. 9 of you. My goodness, almost at double figures at the beginning. But you know how it goes. People roll in slowly and surely. So welcome. It is another Tuesday night and it is another Thrift Store Prepper live. How are you all doing, Thrift fam? Who have you got? We've got Canham, we've got Jasper, Maiden, Montana. I seen Glynis was also in the place to be, hanging with the TSP. I was going to start rhyming, but it's going to be a crime if I do. So let's stop that shit right now before we get out of control. Aztec, Deborah L. And you were just saying you fancied a little bit of TSP this evening, and here you go. You got 100 ramen noodles for $10, and now you're getting a dose of TSP live. So don't tell me I don't deliver your needs, Deborah L. Awesome. So 13, my goodness, another 4 people snuck in the thrift store back door there. So welcome everybody. What have we got in store tonight? Well, probably absolutely nothing. Mini Beavers, how are you? Glad to see you, glad. So yeah, everybody is rolling in and the greetings are flowing in the live chat. 15 now. The TSP backdoor. And Canham had to go there straight away, but that's what we are expecting sometimes at the thrift store. A little bit of inappropriate humor, and you got to admit, in the last week I have brought you a little bit of more deep and meaningful content to the thrift store with maybe not so many laughs. So Judy Bell, how are you doing? The beautiful Judy Bell is here. Baby Becky P, the binge watching OG, homegirl, your gifts are on your way. They got sent out yesterday. My apologies. Last week was a little bit of a upside downy type week for me, in the fact that I had to work on Wednesday and I only had 1 day off on Tuesday and then 1 day off on Friday. But last Tuesday we brought you a fantastic live show with an awesome caller, the Alaskan Prepper. My goodness, what a fantastic live show and experience that was for myself, and hopefully for you too, the viewers out there. I'm doing okay. And how am I doing? Well, this is it. I'm back to normal. I got today off and I got tomorrow off, and I've got a soccer match to look forward to tomorrow evening. So getting my football fix, and today I got my sun fix, people. I got to get out in the backyard, catch some rays, ground myself, smoke some beautiful herb, and all is good in the TSP world. And the added bonus, ramen noodles, 10 cents a piece at the Nofrills Canada. So people, if you're out in Canada, head to the Nofrills, get yourself 100 ramen noodles for $10. I can't tell you any more thrifty a tip than that. Thrifty tips are something we do give you from time to time, although maybe not as frequently as we did when we first started out. But we have lots more content and lots more people watching now. So you really, honest to God, Baby P, the sunshine is my drug of choice. And for the last few weeks, I think I've mentioned about living in the simulated reality. Christina, how are you? Yeah, last week, what a great show. And Scott Rogers, bong hits for all the amazing humans. Toke it up. Toke it up. Yes, we will be doing some token it up. Glad to have you, Scotty, and certainly glad to have you, Christina. Also had a little check at my PO box yesterday. Still no mail for the TSP, but not to worry. Patience is a virtue that I do carry in abundance. Patience is good. But yes, Becky P, I do feel good. For the last few weeks, it seemed like every day, and you know, if you call back a couple of weeks ago, it was my birthday, the 29th of July, and I took an extra day off work and had 3 days, 2 of which brought grey clouds, thunderstorm, and rain, and 1 day brought kind of a little bit of broken sunshine, but I got a few rays, but not the amount that I was hoping in July with 3 days off. And then what made it most worse for me was the next 5 days that I went back to work, we didn't see a fucking cloud. The beautiful, most perfect sunshiny summer's days you could picture perfectly imagine were all there when I had to work, and I didn't get to enjoy them. And then, as we said last week, I had a little bit of a topsy-turvy week in the terms of my scheduling and days off, and both my days off gave me miserable weather, while the days I worked, sunshine. But today, beautiful blue skies, although there is a little bit of cloud coming over now, but that doesn't matter. The sun's gone down. I got my vitamin D. I got my natural dopamine fix, as well as some good old soothing marijuana fumes in the lung. Lady of Lake Fork, did you all know there is a live sign with yeah, well, I mean, goodness gracious, that's not exactly something that I wouldn't be against. And you know, beautiful girls do have the ability to make content out of anything, and rubbing oil in each other's bums at the beach is obviously something that hot girls are doing on their Instagram and their YouTube. But we may talk a little bit about that, because these are sort of kind of ways that YouTube is manipulating the views. Crying Hippie, how are you doing? Yeah, I mean, that was a thing though, Judy Bell. They only allowed you to buy 24 in one transaction, but I don't know what it is, but somehow the TSP, the tattoos and the accent seem to charm Philippine girls for some reason. And the cute little young summer worker Philippine girl said, "Whoa, that's a lot of ramen." And I kind of explained, oh, it was for a YouTube video, and she thought it was cool. I told her to watch. She probably won't. She's obviously maybe one of the sort of girls that may be rubbing oil in her butt at the beach. I carried it in bags on the streetcar, Jasper. It was a little bit. You'd be surprised how heavy 100 ramen noodles are. They don't kind of weigh much on their own. But the girl at the checkout, bless her. And if I could remember her name, I'd give her a shout out. But she put 4 separate transactions through for me, so that I could do it. But I do have those big. Sadly, we lost one. These big Dollarama bags, and you can get 3 big ones or 4 small ones for $1, and they're very good. I might even start using some as hey AMAZ Lynn, glad to meet you and have you in the thrift store. 6 for $1 here in Phoenix, and that's pretty good. That's a good deal. The best I've found in Toronto is 5 for $1 at the Dollarama. So yeah, she let me put them through. Hey, Freebird1, glad to have you on board. Awesome. And we're up to 18 people and 12 thumbs up, although I don't think the thumbs up really make a dicky bird of a difference to the stats in fats. But that's quite all right, Canham. You unpack your groceries and listen away in the background. Did you get any cans of ham in your groceries, Can Ham? Let us know. We'll dying to know, unless I do 4 trips, but then the sale would be done. Well, you can, like, I think that, let me get a box. They're right here. I don't have to go far. It's got all the weight and everything on them. Let's talk about ROMing, because you know how much the TSP. It says CTNGW, £5. So this box weighs £5. Crying hippie. So I think you've got a £10 carry limit, right? So if you tossed the box away, the carton, it comes down to £4.5. So you could, that would be 9 for 2, and you could just chuck them in a bag. But I kind of like the boxes, so I grabbed them. So I've got 5 factory sealed, well, although the ones from the Dollarama, the Nofrills I picked up today aren't. I'm at the movies. What movie you're seeing, Freebird? Let us know. And way to go, watching the TSP in the movie theater. No, canned I'm no spam. And that was something else that was on offer at the Nofrills. Spam, I think, was $2 a can or $2.47 a can. I can't remember. Hoop-dee, hoop-dee, hoop-dee. Everyone say hi to Hoop-dee. Hoop-dee's in the house tonight. Oh, that sucks. The other fucking bartender isn't coming in. Stupid bartender. Let's hope you get a quiet night, Hoops. You got the package. Awesome. Thank you. Well, no, not thank you. I'm glad you got it. But thank you for letting us know is what I was going to say. Yeah, you're lucky. You are kind of getting paid to watch the TSP. So you're my professional viewer at the moment. So we do love ourselves a little bit of hoopdies. And remember, we did have a special live show in your honor a couple of weeks ago because you kept missing out. So it's so nice to have you in here on a Tuesday with the regular offenders. I'm the first. You're the first, Canham. I don't know what song I can think of for Canham. Maybe we'll think of one as we go along. And let's not forget that Canham was the first mod. So there you go. CVS. But yeah, Nofrills had spam on offer as well as quite a few other things. And if I wasn't limited to what I could carry in my bags, I would have probably done a larger haul because they had some big 2-liter V8 bottles for $3.57, which are also something that I've recommended and use a lot. You know, with a couple of liters of that in a stack of ramen, you can make yourself a nutritional meal. Although, you know, the ramen, I'm not going to tell you they're healthy. We are talking about in emergency circumstances, or if you're somebody that is on the breadline and, you know, finding it hard to make ends meet, and a ramen a day for 10 cents with a little bit of the you know, a serving of your V8, that's going to get some calories and some nutrients into you. And I got to tell you, that's better than having no calories and nutrients in you. So little by little helps. And as I said, I just put 100 ramen into my pantry today, and goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna, because I do have a soccer game tomorrow, and I was thinking of trying to go back to the Nofrills and doing a little bit of a haul, because I didn't really do one last week due to the fact that they are scheduling. Hey Trip, good to see you. J Silver, bravo, nice to see you. 23 people and rising. So, all right. For some reason, I got a notification to myself that I'm live. Never mind. So, yeah, some other things to talk about a little bit. But what we're going to do, because I really don't got much to go with tonight, other than the fact that the Nofrills does seem to have a pretty good summer sale on at the moment. And going back to last week's call in, you know, the Alaska prepper and some of the advice he gave to you all, and some of the advice that I took on board as influence for this channel is buy now while it's cheap. And you can eat it later when it may not be so cheap or maybe not so readily available. And 100 ramen for $10 is certainly a very, very good place to start if you haven't started to build a little emergency pantry. So, that would certainly give you one ramen a day for 100 days in a if you stock that up with some lentils and mixed beans and maybe some pork and beans and some boyardees, before long you will start having a pretty compact and calorie dense little pantry of your own. And again, great for trades too, especially if you were in jail. Jesus, if you were sitting on 100 ramen in jail or in the penitentiary, you could have people whacked for sure. And that would be some, not necessarily an equivalent of stacks of Benjis, but it would certainly be some fat stacks in terms of prison currency for $10. Yeah, so 3 times a day, 1 a month. That's it. 100. And Maida, Montana, we have here in Pennsylvania. The only stuff in my pantry is stuff no one wants to eat. I need to work on that. Well, in some respects, Deborah, that's a good thing. But again, if you are in an emergency situation, or maybe you find yourself a little bit on hard times and, maybe you're out of work or personal illness or injury is meaning that the income isn't coming in and you've got your food insurance, then, having a little bit of creature comforts mixed in with your pantry is good. And again, this is some stuff that the Alaska Prepper was telling you last week, and I'm just reiterating that advice that it's smart, and for the majority, I would say 75 to 80% of my pantry is what I consider Sensi prepping items, and that's stuff that is like the Robin. It's Sensi. It doesn't take much water. It doesn't need cooking. It has more calories and nutritional value than the same amount of rice, but doesn't need the water and the heat to cook it. You've seen my recipes. Hopefully you're going to start trying them, and maybe one day in the future we might put a little recipe list out of items for you to get, and we'll have a live cookout together. You guys at home can make along with me on the live show. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. You're live, you've got your voice, you've got thumbs. Let's bring it in. But yeah, the Sensi prepping is something that I kind of come up with on my own, which was something I kind of thought about, if you don't have much space, you don't have much money, then maybe the luxury items are not so smart. And something I found certainly in the early days, I was buying a lot of the Dollarama trail mix, which is a fantastic value, $2 for 250 grams. Which contains 1,100 calories. So for $10 you can get 11,000 calories out of $10 at the Dollarama in terms of getting your trail mix in you. But I do like my trail mix, and I ended up eating it, and I was like eating more than I was putting away from my pantry. So, sometimes having too many things that you like is maybe not a good thing. And that's kind of why I've gone for a lot of canned food, because I will eat canned food, but I don't ever sort of find myself craving a can of boyardee or a can of pork or beans, or for that matter, a meat stick. But in terms of emergencies, then I'm quite happy and content to eat these things. And certainly having spent some time in incarceration, albeit only for, close to 6 months, maybe not the longest term, it was long enough to see things you didn't want to. A sock puppet would be a little more entertaining. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. Billy Bird Outdoors. But thank you for that. And maybe is it coming true, people? Sometimes we talk about things coming. Free coffee. What are you talking about, free coffee? What have I missed here? How are we doing, Wolf Whiskey? Billy Bird Outdoors, smiley face, thank you. Talking my language. Yeah, coffee. I ship it too. So sorry, just reading a few of your contents, and look at that. We were up to 30 people now. Wow. So, yeah, the Sensi prepping is putting items that are calorie dense are going to give you as much nutrients as you can. And if you don't have the space, then, you know, things like peaches and mandarin oranges and cans of creamed corn aren't exactly the most nutritious or calorie dense items to be putting in your pantry. And that's why I'm calling it sensi prepping, stuff that doesn't need much water, stuff that you can eat. You know, it's ready to eat. You just have to open a can with a can opener. If you've got a spoon, you've got a meal, as opposed to dried beans, pasta, stuff like this. You're going to need to cook and heat up, and who knows what situation you're going to be in. You know, it may be the fact that you can't afford to pay your utilities bill when they've shut you off, and you're living in the dark with a little kind of you know, candle lighting lanterns from the dollar store and eating ramen out of a bag. So anime, is that you? Or Anime Scott, is that a different anime? Have you changed your name? Or are you the anime from the WV? Or the coincidences of there being two animes? I don't know. Let us know if you're the anime or you've changed your name. So I'll eventually send you a care package. I know you will, Can Ham. You are the queen of procrastinating. And there's an anime Jasper. My goodness, or are you just, something's going on there that's a little bit confusing. But anyway, if you are the anime, welcome to the Thrift Fam Live. I believe this is your first, and I do have a prepper baby and tiny little shit to send out to you, but you still have not sent me your details, anime, so please do so, and I will get some stuff out to you, maybe even throw in a nutsack for good measures, because it was your birthday a day or something after mine, I believe. So us Leos, we got to stick together. After all, the Leo is the king of the wildlife. Am I not wrong? I don't know how. You email me at the thrift store prepper, all one word, at Gmail, or you can phone the thrift phone. You can text me your details, and if I bear with me, I'm going to try and be all kind of savvy now. There is the Thrift Fam phone number. You can call in or you can text me, and we will be in a little while opening up the call lines for anyone who wants to call in and talk about stuff. Anything you want, you know, kind of within reasons, I guess. But that is the number. So anime, if you want, text me your details to there, and I will get you a little first timer gift package out to you. And there she is. Dirty Darcy sings a lot, and I'm sure she doesn't mind me calling her Dirty Darcy, and probably tickle her shaved underneath. Who knows? So anime, you do that. I'll trade you some wine for 16 squirrels, and who knows, maybe in an apocalyptic you get free Twizzlers. Oh, Freebird, you're talking about getting free stuff from your sister, I take. Awesome. Well, you know, maybe if you want, you can call in and talk about that. Time to hit the bush. Well, Crying Hippie, don't worry, buddy. I've got a couple of busy weeks ahead, but before it gets to the point where we're running out of nice weather, you and I and the girls from work will be getting together for that Scooby-Doo-esque adventure in the park after dark. And look at you all in there trading some deals out, and this is great stuff because this is all organic. The Thrift Fam helping people out. Free Twizzlers, free coffee, twaffy, I guess that's what you'd call a Twizzler if you mixed it with coffee. I know, that's what you're saying. I know you're going now, but before you go, we're going to get together in a couple of weeks and try and make that happen. We are. Hey, Danielle, Granny C, Wake, welcome. Crying Hippie, enjoy your walk, brother. See you on the flip side of that. As Lynn, yes, honey, it's great to have and last forever. Although someone did say that they opened a packet after yes, 32. We're going to be talking a little bit about the subs and the views in a little while, Maiden Montana, because you do know your TSB has been the one that's been following this passive censorship. So for some wild Maryland marijuana review, welcome, glad to have you in here. They found 2,000-year-old honey in Egypt and it had not gone bad. Yeah, honey is one of those things that don't go bad. I really should put some in the pantry, but thank you for that, Glynis. Truth Planter Vit. Hello, 34 people. My word. Look at us getting into the high digits of the 30s. Well, the mid digits. If we get over 35, we can kind of claim we're in the high digits. And have we ever gotten over 40 people in the live feed? I don't know. I'll send you some Ramen King. Who are you talking to, Freebird? Me or oh my goodness, Deborah Owl. Hello, glad to have you, Truth Planter. Welcome to the Thrift fam. Everyone give it up for Truth Planter. Quite cosmopolitan here. Yeah, my word, things do seem to be a little bit on the change, and maybe this is a good point to bring it into the passive resistance talk. So hey Aztec, good job, buddy. You got the first thing that got, yeah, what's a word, flagged. So as you know, you guys moderate yourself. We let it all fly in the chat. We don't censor stuff. We talk about all the things. Well, really and truly, Wolf Whiskey, I've got nothing other than what I'm going to try and show you now, which probably isn't very exciting or meaningful, but, you know, I brought you some interesting videos, a little bit. You are, oh, Freebird. Anything is always welcome. It doesn't matter. I ask for nothing, and gratefully receive anything that you care to send to the thrift store. There is a PO box number and stuff. It's usually in the descriptions and stuff. Maybe one of the wench wrenches will be able to get that in the chat for you if you want. But you know, that's good. You guys out there, and maybe a little, you know, networking, because we do know we got quite a few of you all down in Texas, although we haven't got our Texas connection. Little Anika, Mel Owl. Why do I call her Mel Owl? I should just refer to her as Sugar Tits. That's easier to remember than girls' names, sometimes pet names. But Mel and Anika, our little Texan connection, are missing at the moment. It's good. This come from the dollar store anime. It cost $4. I think there was a couple left last look I saw, and I might even actually buy some because they might be good thrift wheel of thrift prizes. And that is something we will end on today. There will be some wheel of thrift going on. We didn't have a game last week. We had an imaginary virtual game, and some stuff will be heading out to Alaska, and the Alaska prepper will be receiving some nutsacks and meat sticks, but I run out of meat sticks, unfortunately. I got to get some more, so before I can send that out, I got to pick some up. That's the number there. So yeah, passive censorship is something that the TSP has been bringing you for quite some time now, for a couple of months. This is content that I brought you. Now let me try and find, here it is. Now if I can get to the YouTube home, we might be doing a little bit of a show and tell if it's still on there, and it isn't. Oh my goodness, I should have probably saved it before. Actually, let me yeah, I seen something that come up on the YouTube desktop version. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask, look for what I was trying to find earlier, but it was something about the sub count, and it was a video I wanted to bring you. Maybe we should search for it. Let me search for it on YouTube. August 6th sub count. No, I can't find it. Terrible. Because it was an interesting thing, but YouTube had launched a video, and it was on the home page on the desktop, which is something you don't often see unless you, if you use the app on your phone, right? You don't often see the things that are trended and pointing to you. But on the desktop version, there was this video that they were pushing, and it was about the sub count. And they had done something and changed the algorithm to more accurately bring you the subscribers, and I can't find it. Maybe it's on this phone, on this screen. I had it saved, and not on the Thrift phone, but perhaps I'm gonna have to bring you a screen recorder. But remember, screen recording a video of this. But remember how I've been telling you all that I think that the fact that I've been getting so many unsubscribers in the last 2 months was down to our good old friend, the artificial intelligence and the algorithm. Now, this video, I haven't even watched it. I just read the title, and I was going to hope that we could watch it together and do a little bit of a show and tell, as I've kind of tried to do a couple of times on these little things. But let's see what's trending, if I can find it here. I'm still desperately trying to find it, but we've done a little bit of these show and tell things in recent weeks, and I was going to bring you another one of those today to kind of show you this. And it seems that YouTube is kind of addressing the fact that many people seem to have been losing subscribers, or have made some complaint about losing subscribers. I don't know. I haven't watched the video, and maybe I should have done. But still, it looks as though they've done something and updated or changed the algorithm. And since Saturday, the thrift store family has grown by 16 people. I've got 16 new subscribers, although last week I still did take a little bit of the battering on the unsubbing. But since Saturday, which I can't remember, what's the date today? I've forgotten. What is the date today? It's the 13th. So around 6 days ago, that would have been last Wednesday, I guess. So over the weekend, I gained subs, and I also noticed that my videos were getting kind of more in line with the regular kind of view figures that I was getting before this drop in subscribers, what we believe was the passive censorship being run through the algorithm in the AI that was targeting certain channels that may be in the prepper or truth genre. But it seems that something has differed in the last week, and we're getting subscribers and I'm getting views again. So who knows? Maybe they drew too much attention, and we were telling you how obvious and joking and laughing at the algorithm and making it fun of it, and we had those little blackout videos that we read some binary code into it. So who knows if or not that played any part in this? Probably not. Let's just pretend that it did, to make us feel that little bit more better about ourselves, and maybe claim a victory that wasn't even there. But it certainly does look as though YouTube was tinkering a little bit, and maybe now that so many people have noticed it, it was so obvious, they're like, yeah, we need to kind of stop that shit now and go back to normal. So who knows? It'll probably change. And Tuesday is usually the day that we do see the pattern of unsubs. So we'll see what happens after this live show, see if we've gained anyone or lost anyone. And we're down to 28. So we were with the dizzy heights of 34 have disappeared. We're back to 28, but it doesn't matter. It's the quality, not necessarily the quantity. Boom. A couple of his videos do catch his face. Yeah, there are a couple, and there was one, I think the phone unboxing, my budget phone unboxing, you can see my reflection in the phone. Welcome be the boom Q. Sorry, let me read that. TSP. If you look at the other channel, there's an X cross on their homepage. Makes sense to me that some people will describe. Okay. That's true. Marcia G, how are you in the place to be with the TSP, rocking with the Thrift family on a Tuesday, keeping it thrifty? There you go, as a little kind of prison wrap for you, or thrift store wrap, should we say. We're not in prison anymore, though sometimes the basement in winter can feel like solitary. So yeah, that was my information on the passive censorship, but sadly, I can't see anything of it on this page at the minute. So that's a little bit disappointing, because that was something that was of interest. So we will be opening up, I guess, the thrift phone lines in a short while. It's 35 minutes already. Love to all. WWG1WGA. I'm not sure what that means. We take our time here and everyone can appreciate that. Marijuana. I conceal my identity as well in often time slips, or I had my number posted for a few months. Lol. Well, I only really turned the thrift phone on a Tuesday, and maybe a couple of times very late at night during the week, just to check, see if I got a few messages or things. But it really is just open up on Tuesday night for the call-in show. So that is what we will be doing. So what else have we got going on? Where we go one, we go all. TSP. That's some wonderful advice, Marcia G. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you make up the content as much as me, and it is one of those days where I really only had the thing that I couldn't find to try and work around. I do have a bag of groceries from the Nofrills that I did also pick up, not as well as the 100 ramen haul, which was fantastic, thrifty value for $10 for 100 ramen. But I did grab a few other items. I did a little 30 haul and got a few items, but who knows, you can't please everybody, Master G. As long as we can please the thrift family, that's all we ask for. And thrift family get along like a dollar store thrift fire place. I used to conceal my entity in my old, and I have to do a driver's license and if all that, so they kind of already. So yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, at one point or another in the time, maybe I will do a little reveal, but trust me, the hands are a lot prettier than a boat race. Glynis Puff Pass. I actually do have to put another order in for some marijuana to be delivered to me tomorrow. So I could probably do that. Well, no, I can't. I was going to do that live on air, but no. But yeah, I've got a face for radio, so that's why you get to see the hands, and this is what has been known as the nickname Prepper Hands. I take it not many are into Q here. Here we're talking about QAnon. I take here. My opinion and thoughts on QAnon is controlled opposition all the way. No, Becky P. I don't know what you're smoking if that's what you think, but thank you, but don't believe her. That's misleading. I'm not a QE, not at all. So no, I've caught a couple of tidbits of him, but certainly for me, I believe kind of a little bit like Black Bloc. They're the kind of like a, what's the word, agent provocateur type controlled opposition. These are people, they were here at the G20 in Toronto back in 2008 or 2010. I can't remember the exact year, but that was a very interesting series of events, what was going on here, because essentially for a weekend Toronto was under martial law, but nobody in Toronto was actually informed of it. It was kind of like a secret thing that was signed over the bill, and it was put in place just to run through the duration of the G20. And my goodness, some riots and things opposed, but Black Bloc, they were involved in it. They sometimes turn up at a lot of these kind of G20 or anti-globalist type events and protests, and they're believed to be their kind of CIA or NSA or FBI type of operatives, or maybe, you know, police teams that are the black ops that infiltrate the protests and act as agent provocateurs to get other people to monkey see, monkey do. They start kicking off and causing a little bit of bother, and then sooner or later people are throwing garbage cans through Starbucks windows. Good fun, good fun. But yeah, black blocs in back are something that I believe are definitely a controlled opposition, as I believe is QAnon in a part and parcel. He was the one that kind of fueled and started this yellow vest rising, which is another thing that I think is part of controlled opposition, when things kind of have a uniform in slogans and all this kind of stuff. It's usually because it's been run through something like the SWS, or maybe not as advanced as the sentient world simulation, but certainly an algorithm will be at play to see how people will react to certain things. And the yellow vests, again, I think a little bit of agent provocateurs might have been going on there over in Paris, because the riots were going on week in, week out, and it may be just one of those things to try and entice mass civil unrest. Although the other thing that was a little bit interesting there, that a lot of the French football hooligans, soccer hooligans, if you don't know much about football hooligans or football ultras, maybe do a little bit of research. These kind of guys are very organized, very close-knit, very under the radar kind of urban guerrillas in some way, and will weaponize themselves in ways that are not firearms and knives. And a lot of these boys were leading the charge in these yellow vest riots that were going on over in Paris. I do follow a lot of what is going on in the football fan community, and this is the real fans, like not the people that watch it on TV. These are the people that go to the stadiums and stuff, and may or may not get involved in a little bit of fisticuffs over rivalries. But these boys were leading the charges, and a lot of the tactics that you saw going on in these riots were straight from the pages of your football hooligan / ultra mentality and textbook 101 football hooligan behavioral patterns going on there. But yeah, I believe that this was fired up and somehow generated by some part of controlled opposition. Excuse me. And that's another thing that, you know, we talk about these YouTube shill operations. This is something I actually chat to Disciple David a little bit off air. Good old TrueFlix, very close friend to the thrift store. But the shill operations, and these are kind of, you know, the true shills were kind of former military or maybe government agency people who were maybe through injury or disability caused in the field can no longer be active in the field. And now these government agencies and even wings of the military now have got like these little kind of like office blocks, you know, little cubicle type things. And basically these people go into work every day, get in their cubicle and pretends to be somebody else on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter especially. And they will target people who are in the truth or maybe the prepper community, and they will kind of flash mob the comment sections. They will all go in and they will kind of generate and control the narrative towards the way that they want to do. And YouTube, you know, we showed you a little bit a couple of weeks ago about the girl with the snake living in the van, minimalist life, giving up all her life, worldly possessions, and lives in a van with a snake now. And we know that's not true, because snakes need to be live fed. She's got no refrigeration to keep dead rats and stuff. And for some reason in her minimalistic life, she felt it interesting to bring a big, you know, swimming rubber ring and a frog suit, flippers, and a snorkel to make a how I shower in my van video. Not something minimalists, I think, anywhere would really seek the need for a rubber suit and frogs and stuff. But anyway, these are kind of shill operations, and what these people do is this is kind of how they saturate the news feeds on YouTube with people who are pretending to live in tiny homes, pretending to live in vans, or maybe pretending to bring you truth or prepper advice, like perhaps our buddy the Canuckian Pretender shill channel that I've roasted a couple of times, and all he's really trying to do is just sell you stuff and get his advertisement money in by putting Tim Hortons cups in his Ford Focus or his Ford 150 or whatever it is in the background as much as possible. And this is another thing that some of these in terms of censorship, it makes you wonder that if channels that are falling under that truth umbrella can remain doing their thing week in, week out, day after day, without being kind of taken down, and have hundreds and thousands of subscribers, where other channels with maybe not the monetization or the sponsorship or the affiliate marketing kind of deals going on that some of these YouTube channels will indefinitely get the larger they become. I've just given you some misinformation, and they're part of, I guess, the agenda or the planning or the scripting or the programming. This is it. TV once was the main source of our programming, and the movies were also part of our programming. We've talked about predictive and social programming being used through the TVs and movies many times on this channel. You all know this shit. You're not stupid. But now the programming is on the social media, and the more and more they want us to put us in front of a phone or hooked up with some headphones into some kind of device that isn't a television or necessarily a laptop. They want the cell phone because this is a little robot, and the tracking device and the keyboard, as we talked about, is how they track nearly everything about you. It's not just what you watch, what you listen to, that they're collecting. It's your innermost thoughts that you transmit through your text messages, emails, that you use your keyboard for. So there's a little bit of information for you, and basically all I'm trying to do is try and blag my way to an hour. And blagging, if you don't know, is English slang for kind of like maybe bullshitting or bluffing, a little bit of both, a little bit of bullshit, a little bit of bluff through something. So you could blag your way through an interview, perhaps, if you were going for a job, or maybe blag your way through a drug test somehow or some way. But this is examples of blagging, and what I'm doing is trying to blag my way through at least 1 hour of content before we open blag, BLAG, blag. So teaching you a little bit of British slang for you. Stupid autocorrect. Interesting you mentioned that, baby Becky P, the autocorrect. Have you ever noticed how sometimes when you're typing, you're supposed to have these smart keyboards and predictive text in suggested stuff, how it doesn't predict anything you really want to say? And sometimes the word you're trying to spell that you're not very curious, not very I can't speak, I'm having a brain fart, excuse me, that maybe you're unsure of its spelling and you're trying to type it in. It's the last word that comes up with where more like illogical suggestions come up. And Gmail as well was another one that was updated recently. Gmail, Gboard, G. Anything with a G or is from the evil Google corporation is going to be tracking the living shit out of you, and it would track what's in your shit if it could, and possibly in the future it will, but it is tracking everything about you. And the Gmail account, it now starts typing sentences, not just the next word it will do. So this is another way of how they can control how we speak, can make people even more lazy to not bother typing. And many of the younger people emojis, that's what they talk to. And Danielle there, look, lots of emojis. Maida Montana, certainly the girls do love the emojis, and girls do talk with emojis a lot more than the boys. But there are a couple of you that may or may not know some people in the truth community that also use lots of emojis in their talk, and some people are referring to these as modern day hieroglyphics. Let me know what you think of that. Maybe this is some content for the call-in show, which we are probably going to open in 10 minutes if I can blag my way through another 10 minutes without running out of things to say. So what are you chatting about there? Darcy sings a lot. Mine puts in when I want to say time. Sorry, I missed that. Something about time on Timex. For the record, I do identify as a doctor. Wow. Doctors and pharmacists, former military. What happened to Michelle? Hero gifts. Very good, Canham. You are here from a reason when you're not bullying people into trying to watch Black Mirror. Although the episode's not out, there's probably someone you're going to bully and peer pressure into watching it in the Thrift fam chat at some point in the night. Review just sexually, though. Okay, well, a doctor is as doctor does, in a little bit of the beta male programming come in the form of Ross Geller, everyone's favorite beta male paleontologist who got to hit beautiful Rachel, aka Jennifer Aniston. How on earth Ross would have managed to get Rachel in the sack without his PhD in paleontology and the bank balance that come along with that? Because remember, she just worked as a waitress in a coffee shop, not exactly making money for tips. And then all of a sudden, if you also remember, she was with a dentist that wasn't very attractive or alpha, should we say, and she left him at the order, and that's how she stumbled across Phoebe, Joey, Chandler, Monica, and Ross at Central Perk. But he was the leader beta male that told girls everywhere that, hey, you know what, paleontologists, they've got doctor money, and you can officially tell your mum you married a doctor. So make of that what we will. They're always hungry. Yes, you must watch Black Mirrors. And as I told you, why I don't need, when everybody is telling you that it's about predictive programming, then it can only be about predictive programming. And what I did let you know, in my opinion, you don't need to watch it because it's not about what's going to happen. It's about what is already happening. They just kind of try to make it look a little bit futuristic for you, just to kind of make you think it's still not happening, when really we're probably way beyond that kind of tracking. That's right, 25 years ago. That's kind of crazy to think it is. In what was Ross's kid that he had with the lesbian wife? I can't even remember. Was her name Carol? Was that? But yeah, that kid's nearly 30 now. Little Ross's kid. Yeah. TSP Black. Listen, I don't want to hear any more about Black Mirrors for you. I don't need to be entertained. I can entertain myself. Although occasionally I do binge watch, and I do save my binge watching for the winter months, because you're from Canada, you know how dark and dreary it is. And just because you're telling me to, I'm going to go out of my way to never ever watch an episode, Michelle Canham, just to piss on your little Black Mirror cornflakes bowl there. Never going to watch an episode. There you go. Make of that what you will. Lady of the Lake. Is that the one? Yeah, episode 1, they kidnapped the the prime minister's daughter or something, and made him, the ransom was he had to have sex with a pig in public. But I don't know what more than the synopsis that I read. Judy Bell is laughing then. Yeah, I'm actually probably going to go on to my CyberFlix app and start reporting every single Black Mirror episode to the admins and say that they're bad content and should take them off, just so no one else would. But if you enjoy Black Mirror, that's up to you. But as I said, not something for me. But another thing you may want to check out that is also similar to Black Mirror, and I've only actually watched one episode, was Electric Dreams, a similar kind of Outer Limits, Twilight Zone type thing. Friends was all right. It was funny. I would watch it just to see Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, well, Jennifer was the eye candy and probably the cutest out of the three girls. And you're right, it is funny. And I still kind of, when I just want to shut off and not really think about something and want to be mildly whimsically entertained, then it will be Friends will be one of those kind of shows you can kind of just put on and watch in the background. It'll be kind of made like that. American Dad or The Simpsons, or maybe Frasier. Frasier was another show I used to kind of just enjoy putting on. Anime, if you are on Netflix, no, I don't. I use CyberFlix, and I'll show you it again. Here's CyberFlix. It does have an update. I'm not going to do that now. CyberFlix, the free Netflix. You can't get it on the Google store, and if you're on iPhone, you're shit out of luck, because iPhone don't let you put third-party applications. But this is CyberFlix, as you can see there, CyberFlix TV. It requires no sign-in, no registration, absolutely nothing required at all, and no payments, and it will give you any content you want. So you go to the trending, and this is all the contents there: The Boys, The Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things. And you would click on this, and there's season 3, which I recently watched. Then it has all the episodes you could want to watch, and if you hit the play button there, what happens is it brings you up a whole bunch of streams, although it sometimes does take a little while. There you go, and you press play. And we won't play too much. This is running off the Wi-Fi. It does take a little time sometimes to load up, and because we are trying to show you how good it is, it's gonna not show it. So let's cancel out of that one and go to this one. These ones usually play a little bit faster. There you are, people. HD. So let's go out of there before we get any copyright stuff. CyberFlix, a better free Netflix, and you can go over here, look, and you can click on movies, and this is free, people. So cancel Netflix. I can possibly at some point put the link to this in the description afterwards. But look, if you want to watch The Lion King, which I believe is on in the movies right now, you click on here. Let's see how many links they... Just ignore this, right? It says you need to do a recapture. You don't. That's lying. Don't pay any attention. And yeah, we got a couple of clicks for The Lion King, which is currently playing in the movie theaters. And this is going to be a camcorder at the back of the theater type of deal. But if or not it'll play, who knows? But there's movies that are currently playing on, and the theaters at the moment are on CyberFlix, unlike Netflix. So yeah, that doesn't look as though it's going to give us a very good let's see what CHD does, just to see if we can get the yeah, look, you can see my reflection in the phone. Hello, you can see my shiny bald head. And yeah, as I say, so here we are. Look, The Lion King's coming up for you right there on TV. It's got some writing on it, but you know, save yourself fucking $100 on popcorn and tickets and watch it on CyberFlix. And if you want, you can cast it to your TV screen. But there you are. It is probably a dodgy copy at the back of the movie theater. Movies, TV shows, anything you want. So you can go to TV shows and you press this, the Orange is the New Black, Handmaid's Tales, and Netflix and Hulu. So if you want to watch anything that is on Netflix and Hulu, slow, maybe because we are streaming, but I can assure you that content is on there, but maybe that's because we need to update it. It's not working. So let's exit out of there, get the YouTube back, because that's how, there you are, look. That, what you're seeing there now on the screen, that's a little bit of the definition of infinity. That just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on for forever. So there you go. Look at that. We've done it. We've got over the hour mark. Oh no, we ain't. We've got a few seconds to go. Fantastic. It's on the internet. I don't know if it's legal or not. I have been using CyberFlix for over a year, and before that it was known as Terrarium TV, and I used it for about 3 years. 3 years before I believe it kind of disappeared and then come back as CyberFlix. Nothing wrong with it. I've never had any issues, never had any problems. You will have to go to your settings in your phone on your Android and change it to allow you to download unknown sources, and then go to your search platform of choice and type in the search bar CyberFlix APK free download, and it should take you directly to their website where you can download the APK, which is just an app that's kind of been reprogrammed for distribution, I think. I'm not sure exactly what is the difference between an APK or an app, but it's been formulated differently, or formatted differently rather, and you can download it just like an app, install it onto your phone, and you've got a much better free version of Netflix or Amazon Prime, and even your YouTube Red content is on there, people. So watch it. Not sure if it's illegal or not, but as I said, if you want to save yourself money and have unlimited movies, TVs, and all the latest shows, and that's a good thing. If your favorite TV show's on tonight, usually like within minutes of it kind of finishing on air, there will be a link to that show, so you don't really even need to have cable TV anymore, people. That's all I've got to say. That's another little thrifty tip for you. CyberFlix. And what better thrift is there than free, not free, people. So I've had a very good thrifty day. I got myself 100 ramen noodles for $10 at the Nofrills. Danielle, you're in Canada. You and Wolf, you should get yourself to the nearest Nofrills and get yourself 100 ramen noodles for sure. Don't miss out on the deal. So people, we're gonna open up the thrift phone. The lines are open. What's the number? 647-393-4070. 4070. 393. That's it backwards. That's not going to help really at all, is it? So if it's free, it's for me. That's exactly it. Unless it's STDs, you don't want to be getting STDs for free. Although you can. We've got a phone call already. Someone's on the line. So hello. Welcome and greetings to the Thrift Store live call-in show. And who do we have on the line?
This is Kevin.
Kevin?
Yep, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. And you've called in before, am I right, Kevin?
Yeah, I called in about a couple weeks ago, I think.
That's right. I'm going to save your number after this. That way I will recognize you if you call in. So what have you got to tell us today, my friend?
Jeffrey Epstein. What a freaking Jew.
What? Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So, elaborate a little bit more. What's going on in your mind about Jeffrey Epstein? Do you think he was killed? Do you think he committed suicide, or did they sneak him out the back door and take him to a little secret island somewhere?
I think the guards looked away. Someone gave him the order to back off, let him do his thing, and he didn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison, so they let him go out the easy way.
So you think you're on the suicide decision, but from what you're saying, you think that maybe the prison guards or they were in on it somehow.
Yeah, I think they're in on it. Like they let him off himself. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, I'm still a little bit on the fence. I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards the perhaps they did a switcheroo, put a waxwork dummy or something on a gurney, staged a couple of photographs, and maybe they whisked him away. Powerful friends in very powerful places, private jets, private islands, limitless amounts of wealth to help that happen. You know, who knows? Plastic surgeons and all sorts can do wonders for the elite and wealthy, unlike you and me, my friend, who are probably, you know, finding it hard to get by on a full-time job.
They might have freaking got him out of there. Did some high powerful people smuggling him out of the prison cell. Did the old switcheroo. It's not too far-fetched.
And this is the thing, the whole sort of start to finish since he went in jail has been a little bit suspicious, and you know, you've got to say there is a little bit of conspiracy going on there, because he was on suicide watch. Supposedly he had marks on his neck that they couldn't really say whether he tried to hang himself or whether another inmate got hold of him and caused those injuries. But he was in suicide watch, and they kind of released him back to his special housing facility. He wasn't in general population. He was in special housing. They said he was fine and there was nothing wrong with him. He was free. You know, he's over his suicidal thoughts, and then he commits suicide. So I don't know. Maybe somebody, you know, in that the medical facility that assessed him, maybe they give him a little injection of something before he went back to his cell. Who knows?
But yeah, who knows? We'll never know either. That's the problem. Another point I'd like to make is, did you see the tweets? Some media personality, Joe Scarborough, said he basically blamed the Russians. He said, I think we know what this comes down to, the Russians. He's trying to blame Jeffrey Epstein's death on the Russians. Can you believe that?
Oh my! If in doubt, blame the Russians. I get. I don't really follow Twitter. I've never been on there, and I kind of don't really look at too much social media. Only the sort of content that I tend to share and put out on Twitter, in some of the, you know, the people who have channels in things that I kind of pay attention to. So I don't really kind of follow what is trending in many ways, but Twitter and stuff like this is a great way. And, you know, we're just talking a little bit earlier about, you know, how kind of YouTube has many kind of channels and people that are kind of posing as real people, but really they're kind of on somebody's payroll, and are reading from a script, so to speak. And I think this is very much the case on almost any social media platform, that when people start talking about the Russians, then it points a finger elsewhere, even if there's no fathomable logic behind that. It just kind of brings more questions to ask, if you see what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you agree. I mean, social media is just a disaster. You're better off staying off that anyways, but it got a lot of traction, and a lot of people were making fun of him, saying you're ridiculous. And I feel like the only, like, these high media elites, the media, they're only allowed to get away with saying this about Russians. If you said this about Israelis, you said this about Mexicans, you said this about any other group of people, you would be donezo. You would be labeled a hater, a bigot, racist, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to Russians, no one cares. It's like you're allowed to, all these high-ranking media members, just allowed to run with this narrative, saying this and that about Russians. It's kind of crazy. My third point, what was I going to say?
Well, actually, before you give me that, just to kind of just to comment on what you're saying about the Russians. Russia happens to be one of the few countries that does not have Rothschild banks within its borders. So maybe that might give you a little bit of an indication as to why it's anything goes in free for all on the Russians. You can say whatever you want about those, because they're outside of the little Rothschild's grasp on the banking stuff. So some food for thought for you there, brother. And the third point, what are you going to say next?
Oh yeah, it was. It's not Russians that it's connected to. It's Jews. It's Israelis. I mean, the Prime Minister of Israel, former Prime Minister of Israel, actually used to crash on Jeffrey Epstein's couch. I mean, that's how high up this dude is. He's got Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secrets, and a billionaire Jew. He was covering for him, giving him money, bought him a mansion. Like Dershowitz, a really high-ranking media member, always in the media. He was a Harvard lawyer, one of the few Harvard lawyers like I forget exactly what it was, but he was like one of the youngest Harvard lawyers that graduated. Another Jew, Ghislaine Maxwell, her father was a Mossad agent. I mean, the list just goes on and on, the number of high-ranking Jews that was connected to him. But this dude, Jar Scarborough, mentions Russians. Like, because he know better. If he mentions all these Jews connected to him, he'd probably be fired from his job the next day. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, kind of. Israel is a very, very delicate and touchy subject. And certainly, like if you look at the Council on Foreign Relations, which is the kind of the public face of the shadow government, and they're a bunch of what is known as Zionists, I guess, is another way of speaking, of saying Jewish or Israeli, but. Yeah, Epstein. He had ties to Mossad, as far as I am aware, and as you mentioned, he's kind of entertained who knows how many kind of high-ranking secret Mossad agents at secret islands and stuff. And maybe quite he could also be a shadow agent for them themselves. You know, he was a very public figure. He had a lot of wealth, and he hobnobbed with a lot of celebrities. So who knows if he was a double agent or not in getting close to people like, you know, Donald Trump, and as you said, you know, the kind of Victoria's Secrets people in some of these, you know, retail globalist billionaires that are pumping lots of, you know, they're kind of the way to pump the wealth into the Rothschilds' pocket from the public, if you see what I'm saying, through the consumer market. But he's in with all these people. He can obtain so much information and relay it back to his Mossad buddies, if that was your line of thinking, if you see what I'm trying to say.
Yep. And also he was running a blackmail scheme. His whole shtick was getting high powerful people, try to compromise them and get them on camera committing heinous acts to children, and that was his thing, trying to blackmail them doing that.
Yeah, well, that's
not the most shadiest thing in the world, trying to blackmail people. That's some straight weasel shit.
Well, it's one of the kind of rumors of how they kind of, you know, some of these secret societies actually work, that in order to kind of get into them, you have to kind of do something very, very heinous or ritualistic that maybe is considered and frowned upon by many as abnormal, and quite possibly is. But many of these things in these entry rituals are for blackmail purposes. So, for example, if you were to ever get a little bit close to speaking the truth, then these things could be leaked out to discredit you and make you kind of disappear. And the kind of elite pedo ring is something that is not just sort of centralized in the United States, that the United Kingdom's government and so many kind of celebrities I grew up as a kid watching that were targeted as family wholesome entertainment all turned into be kiddie fiddlers. In Hollywood is supposedly, I think Brad Pitt just a day or two ago mentioned something about how Hollywood is run by the pedo ring. And, you know, I've mentioned the rainbow unicorn programming and how, you know, platforms like YouTube, you know, they don't want people finding out that ramen noodles are 10 cents a piece at the Nofrills. They'd rather people being brainwashed into thinking their 6-year-old kid should be a trans, you know, a tranny cross-dressing artist for the gay community. Sorry, I lost a little bit of my train of thought there, but I don't know if that answers any of your questions or not.
Yeah, it's just it's just pretty messed up. I feel like him, Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski. Who's that? The guy from the UK. I know you're talking about with the crazy hair.
Yeah, there was a guy called Jimmy Savile, and he used to have a TV show on for kids. Well, it's family entertainment, but it's mostly for kids. And the the idea of his show is called Jim Will Fix It, and kids were encouraged to write him a letter, and like you'd write, Jim, could you fix it for me to ride in a racing car, or could you fix it for me to go ice skating, or something like this. And each week he kind of would grant a wish for a kid and fix it for them. And for years and years, his show was of him with kids kind of sitting on his knee, and goodness knows what was going on behind the cameras. But Jimmy Savile was one, and Rolf Harris, who was a very, very famous artist and also a musician and kind of an entertainer. He painted a portrait of the Queen. He was commissioned to paint a portrait of the Queen, I think, for the Gold Jubilee. But yeah, he turned out to be a pedophile. And then there was another guy, Gary Glitter, who was a kind of pop star back in the glam rock kind of guy back in the 70s. He was living out in Cambodia or Thailand or one of these kind of Southeast Asian countries that is known for its sex trade, and he was on multiple pedophile charges in multiple countries. So are these guys exclusive to this behavior? Are they just the ones that got caught? That's I think, going back, I caught my train of thought that you're saying that these heinous acts are being committed by people that probably more people in the public eye than we realize have probably been subjected to this one way or another. And you remember the Lost Boys movie, the two Corys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, he's the one that's still alive. He's spoken very, very openly about, what he and the other Corey were subjected to when they were young, and how they were kind of passed around the producers who wanted a little bit of young boy to feast on. And he gets a very, very hard time, and he gets a lot of ridicule from the mainstream media, and then they kind of make him out to be some kind of whack job, drugged out junkie type, kind of washed up star from yesteryear that's just trying to stay in the limelight. But there's no truth without fire. And a little bit, if you remember the I don't know if you saw it or not, the Michael Jackson, the Netflix and program documentary, where they were talking about the two guys that defended Michael Jackson in his court cases, that now he's dead. Like, well, yeah, you know what, Michael Jackson, he did have a little bit of fun with us, and really and truly, that wasn't necessarily demonizing Michael Jackson, although it kind of did. It was very, very, very soft-core pornography for people who may get off on that kind of thing. So we're in some dark times with that kind of the pedo ring and the rainbow unicorn programming going on. But it certainly does seem to be something that the elites like to practice. And as I said, is it exclusive to the people that have been caught, or are they just the only ones that have been caught?
That's a good question. I think another question is, why is it there's a lot of Jewish individuals. You look at their population, they're less than 2% of the population in America. And you look at all these different individuals, Harvey Weinstein. I'm not saying he's a pedophile, but he's definitely accused of sexually assaulting women and doing some heinous things. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Roman Polanski, Anthony Weiner, Congressman, Les Moonves. The list goes on and on. You can look up the names. It's like...
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Nickelodeon members, all these different Nickelodeon members. I think his last name is Peck. They're all Jews, and it's like, why are they so? Why are there so many Jews in these circumstances getting accused and getting caught doing these types of things? And my whole thing is because they don't believe in God. They have no moral values. I think that's a big reason why you look at Jews. They're almost Jews in America are almost exclusively atheist, and I definitely think that has a role in it. I think that's a big reason why their God is materialism and making money and stuff like that. They despise Jesus Christ. They reject Him, rebel against Him. They rebel against God's commandment, etc., etc. What's your thoughts on that?
Goodness, things I don't really like to touch on too much are politics and religion, just because my views are that are things that are used as tools of division. I'm not saying it's wrong or right to believe in religion or whatever. Everyone has the right and the freedom to believe in whatever they want to, but what kind of a little bit what you're saying, that there's a lot of names that all kind of are in a certain demographic rather, and it does seem to be a certain ethnicity which happens to be Jewish, and they all seem to have a lot of ties to Israel in the Zionists. So that's about all I'm kind of willing to say, and not really want to go too far into that. So unless you've got anything else to add, Kevin, I say thank you for your call, and maybe we'll open up to the somebody else. So anything else before we let you go, Kev?
Nope, they've taken my phone call. Call another time.
Not a problem, buddy. Take care, and look forward to hearing you again. So thank you, Kevin. That's the first call of the night. So if anybody else wants to call in, the lines are open. So that was some different info. Oh goodness, can't even think what I'm trying to say myself right now. But yeah, and if I'm right in thinking, Kevin was he's only a young guy, so he does seem to have a little bit of a smart head on some young shoulders, if I'm right in remembering that. I think he's only 19. But there you go. So anyway, yeah, as I said, people, whoever wants to call in, the phones are open. Ring away. Let us know what you think on anything. As I said, the whole Epstein thing has been a whole lot of interesting psychological operations, I think, is the only way I could classify it, since it kind of started. And as you see, we kind of have all these elites that are kind of being charged with this kind of behavior, and we have platforms like the one you're watching me on that seem to be doing so much to kind of promote the trans kids in drag tots and all this other rainbow unicorn type of stuff. So still waiting for the lines to ring. Nobody seems to want to be talking to the TSP tonight. So that's a little bit disappointing. How many? We've got 26 still watching, and 26 thumbs up. Oh my goodness. That's like some kind of home run or something. So anybody? Nobody? Danielle, cool. Judy, let us know. Anime, call in. You can talk about whatever you want, my darling. So call in. The line is open. You can take the mic and entertain the Thrift fam with your prepping talk. Go ahead. But yeah, you can call in drunk later if you want. But let's let Anime call in with some preps. So we'll leave it for you, and maybe Anime, you can call in. Talk about preps, because this is the thrift store prepper. And let me get some water. That's what I'm in need of. If you are in the United States, Anime, you will have to put a 1 in front of the 647. So look at you. Nobody wants to call. It's like real life. Girls don't want to phone me. So maybe we'll just have to get Jasper on the line. Drunk and high. That would be fun. But yeah, cool. Anime, talk about preps. We want to hear what you... Don't be shy. You're in the Thrift fam. Everybody's happy and nice. No one's going to make fun. In fact, everyone will love you more for calling in, I'm pretty sure. So don't be shy. You can... Who's a weird ass lady? At Deborah, I write. So Lady of the Lake, that's an emoji that I can't read. So nobody's ringing. My goodness. I'd call, but you're probably right, and I don't want to be hearing about any Someone's calling. Someone's calling. It's a 604 number. I'm guessing this is from BC. Is it going to be Wolf Whiskey or is it going to be Danielle? Hello, hello. Who's on the line?
Hey, it's Danielle.
I figured it would be 604. That's a BC number. So Danielle, welcome. Yeah. First time speaking. How are you?
Yes. Good. How are you?
Well, I'm all right. All right. Have you been smoking a little something?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can tell.
I've been drinking a little beer here and there.
Why not?
It's a regular Tuesday.
It is, yeah, regular Tuesday. Why not? Why not? So Danielle, what have you got to entertain the Thrift fam with on this delightful, wondrous call? So if you don't know, Danielle's one of the wenches and one of the first wenches on the channel where we've got quite a lot now. But Danielle, it's over to you, my darling. Entertain us.
Well, I really just wanted to call in as a wench. Hearing you for the first time on Marfugal, and then, being a little bit of admiration. I liked what you had to say. I thought, help you get to your, I can't remember what number it was, but Marfugal was trying to get everybody to get to your number at first, and so I was one of the peeps. And I just want to say, we talked a few times off air. I never went live with you, but I gave you, my opinions about your prepper hands, using them, because I think it's pretty, in my opinion, I think it's kind of sexy. And to use them more when you don't show your face, use your hands in that, and then giving you just my opinion on how to improve your channel. And then I started I had already subbed, but started listening to it. And after a few times, we had that little thing, and then I was the drink girl when you said, what did you say, meat sticks and that kind of stuff.
It started out with "There You Go" was the first thing I noticed when I kind of started watching a few of my early videos back, that I couldn't stop saying "There you go," and that's kind of where the drinking game comes.
Yeah, that was the other one. There you go, meat sticks, or whatever. And I tell people to drink. I think we drank a lot more back at the start.
And yeah, then, the drinking game has kind of phased its way out. Maybe a good thing, really, for you don't really want to start just having TSP alcohol anonymous meetings. Yeah, exactly. We could do that live on show. But no, indeed, you're one of those kind of first people that stood out in that initial, my channel went from 78 subscribers to 780 overnight, and it's whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't really ever expect it to get this big, and certainly never ever had visions when I started this of having call-in shows. But you and dear old Canham out there in the chat there, you were the first two wenches, and you two have both kind of become part of the fabric in
and every. We're Wonder Twins, and now Judy is too. And now you've got quite a little pack of we might say wrenches now, because we're not all female.
No, the wench wrench. I don't even know. It's wench wrench. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be trying to say. But that's a little thing that we kind of organically not poised. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, that's the kind of shit that we've been building together. This is how it's all been done.
And I was glad to give you my opinion and a few things you took and stuff. Prepper baby and all that kind of stuff. And then was just really happy to be part of the fam, and that you made me a moderator and an admin, and I love the family. This is I actually take days. I changed appointments from my Tuesday so that I could do this, because I love it. I just love it. Your channel is amazing.
Well,
we're having such a fun time, and you should not be upset when you see the number goes down, because the people that are coming to your channel, remember, most of them are coming from our Fugal. And I think maybe a couple weeks ago, I pretty much try to sub everybody that I can, like, that comes to your channel to sub them. And I looked at a few of the, like, when I noticed new people, right? And a lot of them, you know, they got crosses on there, and there's nothing wrong with having a cross on your channel, but you know that a lot of them are Christians. So don't be upset if they all of a sudden are there, they subscribe, and they all of a sudden leave, because we are not a Christian channel, and they might not be happy with what they hear. So all of a sudden you got these people, they come and they come and all of a sudden they go live. But definitely, I spent a lot of stop it, Wolf. He's trying to.
We don't want to know what Wolf's up to. Well, you know, you two can get a little frisky
like,
through these live shows.
He's just trying to like catch me off guard. Anyways, but like I said, last Tuesday I looked at a lot of, because I'm trying to sub to our peeps, and I noticed a lot of them had like crosses on their photos and stuff on their homepage, and I thought, well, there we go, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's no wonder why you think that, okay, you got all these people, and then suddenly they watch, and then they unsubscribe, because it's just a different group of people.
That's right. I mean, we try to have funny, and we're kind of, you know, tried not to make it about religion or politics, as I mentioned to the last caller. It's one of those things that does divide people. But what does kind of bind us all together is our need to kind of stay alive. And, you know, although some of us may be loners in life, we are kind of pack creatures, and the Thrift fam has become like a little pack of lost and broken souls, as well as some, you know, wonderful spiritual people, and together we've built harmony at the Thrift store. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, Buddhist, atheist. Come to the Thrift store, come as you are, spit, swear, curse. And,
decide if you want to stay or not.
And, you know, I get that.
I don't want you to be upset though if people don't stay. We just, like, now, because of how much it's grown, we're getting people from not Marfugal anymore.
That's right. And I think
we still do, but we're getting people from other walks of life now. So those are going to be people that are going to stick around with us longer than the occasional Marfugal call and they come over.
No, I agree very much so. And I think if we can all cast our minds back a little bit to spring break, and I mentioned in one of those,
so much fun.
It was, and
so
what
much fun.
That was 20 hours of footage in 1 week.
That was so amazing.
And it was, I really, really enjoyed that. I wish we could do that again. That was.
I think everybody did.
But I think in there I sort of mentioned that sooner or later you kind of have to leave the Marfugal nest. In as much as it was, and as much as I appreciate the opportunity in that, you know, we're building the Thrift fam. And I think this is it. Week in and week out. I make the videos for those of you, and I go live that come every Tuesday and do watch my videos, and not necessarily.
We love it. We love it. It's so much fun. I mean, you're the host, but like being a wench, being live, it's just so much fun being in the chat logs.
And it is, and I think,
you know, it is. It is fun, and I can see you every once in a while trying to keep up to us, and you don't realize what we're saying, and you're trying to figure out like what we're talking about. But sometimes we're listening to you, proper.
I know.
But sometimes we have our own conversations going on. All of a sudden, you know, it just gets like that.
Yeah, it happens. And, you know, sometimes it's been a learning curve for me, because, you know, I'm not a presenter or anything like this. You know, I just, partly why I started this channel was a little bit from a conversation with somebody that said that, you know, I was talking about Dollarama and the dollar stores, places to like, really, you should share this information. And out of that, it was like, yeah, okay, this should be my YouTube channel. And the other reason was to kind of stop me talking to myself through those dark and dreary months in the winter here in Canada, which can be a little bit, you go cabin fear and stir crazy. So it kind of gave me a little bit of a reason to go to the store and, you know, having to buy a few preps in order to use that as my content for videos. And, you know, as I've kind of grown and grown and grown, so too is the Thrift fam. And we have so many people like Glynis.
Yep.
She was a first timer. Now she's a regular. And within 5 minutes of being in the fam, she was part of the fam, and quite a lot of people. And we got little anime.
A lot of people are like that, and I'm so happy for you. We're such a great group. We all like cling to each other. We have a lot in common, and it's fun.
And
like
that's
I
it.
said, I changed my Tuesdays just to be part of this.
There's still some incomprehensible to me, to be quite honest. And still, I get a lot of kind of emails and messages from silent subscribers and stuff like this. And I'm just like, really? What the hell are you smoking? Send me some if you... But, you know, it's true. And a lot of this, you don't want to sound like that cheesy Academy Award winning speech. But, you know, you guys in the Thrift fam... I'm not bullshitting when I say you kind of make the fabric of this, because each and every one of you does bring a little bit of something. And Henley, hello, I noticed you're in the group. I haven't seen you and I was worrying about you, buddy.
Awesome,
and I'm
Henley.
good to see you.
Henley. Welcome back.
So, and this is little animes
I
first.
just wanted to call in as like a wench and just say like my part of being the family, not just like a subscriber, but just how I met you and how it's like a really awesome part of my life. And I love all my wenches out there. MG, oh my God, I can't even keep up anymore. But Michelle and Judy, of course, are like my first three. So I love it. So I just wanted to get my side of the story.
Awesome.
And say hi. And
oh, no, it's good. And now people have a voice to the text. They know what you sound like. And, you know, you're here every week just as I am, as many of those people. So, you know, this is a very good call. You've got to get to know a little bit about Danielle, the OG Wench Wrench. So, awesome. That's something I meant to ask. I did send something your way. Did it ever arrive? I'm guessing not. I sent you and Wolf a little nutsack with a prepper baby and a little shit in it.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, you know what? I've been spending most of the summer out here.
Right, because I sent it to the original.
It's probably in my mailbox. I didn't get it. How long ago?
It was ages ago. I can't even remember now. And I'm like, wait, I didn't hear from you. Did I send it to the right place? But it was to the address that I sent because you were the first nutsack winner.
I got the nutsack. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll check next time because I think since you had those, I've probably been home once to check the mail.
Okay. So, well, hopefully you and...
so nice out at Whiskey's house. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of your pictures on the Facebook. It does look very, very, very tranquil and idyllic.
It's nice, and we'll do some videos soon, and we'll do that. But thank you. I wanted a proper baby.
Yeah, well, you have one. It should be waiting. Hopefully, there's one for you and one for Wolf. So
Oh, awesome! Thank you. Thank you so much. That's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you for calling in. Go back to the chat and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much for calling. Great call.
Back on the chat logs and you get your next caller. Love you, Prepper.
Awesome. Love you too. Fantastic. Well, that was Danielle. And if you do remember, she was part of the drama in the very, very first live show I did. Well, it wasn't the first live show, actually. I had done a few live shows before I had subscribers to only my fake account, actually. That was a little bit sad. It's kind of like sexting yourself with two phones. But anyway, that was it. Anime, don't be shy. You can do as good as Danny L. Call in, and maybe Hanley, you said you got your little shit in prepper baby in a nutsack, right? The ramen you sent was really good. Too bad the same brand isn't sold. That's right, you won some ramen as well. Yeah, it was a great call, and that's, sometimes we did that show knowing me, knowing you, and it's a little bit for you to guys out there to know Danielle. You see her each and every week and in the chat there. So great stuff. So how many minutes we're up to? 1 hour and 38. So let's look. We've got 22 minutes to bring it up to the 2 hour mark. What are you talking about? Weed Maps or Instaman? Yeah, Danny Out is a sweetheart anime. So why don't you be brave and get on? Part of the reason you don't see me is in only my hands that some of you find sexy for God only knows what reason. And I'm not going to rub lotion on. Stop sending me messages to ask me to rub lotion on my hands. You'd be surprised how many of those I get. But anime, call in. I'm shy. That's why you see my hands and not necessarily me. So we do. If you really, really want anime, 22 minutes. Let's get the fucking Wheel of Thrift out. If ever there is doubt and we need some killer, we go to the Wheel of Thrift. Although I do need to warn you people, there are no more Bugle Boys. Not Bugle. Fuck. I got it right for so long. Do you remember when I used to call him Bugle Boy all the time? But he's actually Binocular Boy. But yeah, I've run out of Binocular Boys. Everybody wanted Binocular Boy as his as their star prize. Anime, would you like to be a contestant on the Wheel of Thrift? And then you don't have to necessarily be shy. You just get to win prizes and you don't really have to do anything. I spin the wheel and you can win one of the many thrifty ship prizes like a meat stick, a ramen, a prepper baby, or a nutsack. So call in. You can be our contestant on the Wheel of Thrift. But we do have to lie it down because it doesn't work very well. Anyone can call in for the Wheel of Thrift. But it was Anime's birthday the other day, and it is her first time. But if she's shy and doesn't want, then of course you can. So you can be our backup contestant. So, Anime, do you want to be the Wheel of Thrift? Yay or nay? If not, we will hand it over to... Okay, it's going to be in 5 minutes. So, all right, we can wait 5 minutes. Oh, I see. You're driving. Don't be texting and driving, Anime. That's dangerous. So who else was it that just said that they wanted to call in as well? I've forgotten already. Short-term memory. So the Wonder Twins indeed. Speed, don't text. So yeah, Henley, I'm glad you enjoyed the I forgot what flavor ramen I sent you in the end. Someone is calling. I don't think that's Anime, but let's see who it was. Hello. Call.
What's going on, dude?
Hello, who's this?
My name is Steve Stevenson, marijuana review. What's going on, bud?
Oh, how you doing, marijuana? I can't speak. You got me tongue-tied. Awesome. Glad.
That's cool, brother. I got you.
Yeah, I got you too, my friend.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Always good on a nice sunny day. Getting my rays in vitamin D and also a bit of herb in the system doesn't go wrong. So what have you got to tell us, marijuana review?
I'm filling that 5 minutes until the young lady calls.
Perfect. Well, you can talk to 10. You know, when girls say 5 minutes, they really mean like 27.
Oh, no, that's cool, my man. I've got like less than a quarter of a joint and I'm standing in the rain.
Really?
So I get the reception because I live in the woods.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I live in a nice remote location.
That sounds idyllic. I'd like to be in a remote location with some herb.
Yeah, just low population density, preferably.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of prepping, man, you got a second for prepping.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Talk. The line's all yours.
Well, I read a few good books, man. There's a book called by Max Brooks called The Zombie Survival Guide.
Yes, I remember. I've read the Survival Guide, along with World War Z. Those were two zombie books I read some years ago. But there were some good tips in there, if I can remember.
Yeah, I think it just speaks more on the generalization of people's mentality during a time of crisis and how people generally would react. It brings up a lot of things that I wouldn't have foreseen, just as, groupthink when the shit hits the fan, that, if you're not a part of the group.
Yeah, no, great. And something I touched on a little bit about the predictive programming is the kind of behavior of humanity in sort of almost any anti-apocalyptic movie, be it Mad Max or, a zombie apocalypse, is how kind of medieval society gets, and they go out and start killing one another and grouping up in separation and divisions, and The Walking Dead, for example.
We're talking about zombies, not the elections, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
No,
but
I'm sorry.
but
that's what it sounded like you were describing, the elections. But yeah, I get it about zombies too.
But yeah, it's kind of programming people how maybe they should behave in the shit hitting the fan of the apocalypse, rather than maybe helping one another out. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I mean, personally, from what I've experienced, I think it's just important to have a well-rounded group. There's only so much I can do on my own side.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not like a licensed practitioner of medicine, so I'd have to find somebody that's a real doctor that can do more than I can. You know what I mean? So it's like just having a well-rounded group of people and staying away from roads. Yeah, try to find a good track. Railroad tracks get you into the wilderness and places that are more remote.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
I've read.
I'm in a huge city, the worst place you could possibly imagine to be. But I'd certainly, if I was going to be off grid, it'd be somewhere that was probably a little bit tropical in climate. Then you've got kind of year round. You can grow some fruits and vegetables. Maybe keep a chicken or two or something like that. You know.
I hear you on that.
So you say you're kind of a little bit remote. Are you kind of like a little bit off grid, self sufficient, or are you like in a kind of small town community kind of farming place?
More of a small town farming place.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in there's still remnants of the former time when there were a lot of farms. So like they all might not be growing anything, but there's a lot of open fields. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I just don't like population density. I don't like waiting in line for a beer, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
What it's about.
Goodness, yeah, and there are some bars here in Toronto in the trendy parts of town where you have to wait an hour just to get inside, and then good luck getting a drink when you're in there.
Oh hell no, man! You know what I could do at that hour?
Yeah, exactly. Drink 6 beers and probably roll a couple of joints.
Yeah, man. Respect.
When your Maryland marijuana reviews, do you review marijuana for Maryland? I know that sounds a very obvious question.
Yeah, I do it's like a wine review for weed. There's a lot of people I deal with that are more like squares or normative.
Okay.
They don't really understand what RSO is, or got questions like, hey, I'm not a smoker. What else can I do to, you know what I mean? If I buy a bag of weed and I don't want to smoke it.
Yeah, what can I do with it? I got you, right. And is it legal there where you are? Because I know it's not legal in all states.
Yeah, for medical reasons. And the medical reasons expand every year on the ballot. There's a new medical reason. Right,
okay, so they kind of open it up. I mean, like here in Canada, it's like legal, recreational across the board. Although it does kind of differ a little bit province to province how or where you can buy it from. Here in Ontario, it's a fucking mess. And I think they deliberately made it a mess to kind of stop people being able to get it as easy as they probably should. I don't know why, but it was very strange because a couple of years before it was legal, it was easier to, there were so many dispensaries in plain sight. You just walked in, they were kind of under the medical, they were falling under we're doing it for medical, and you just maybe sign a photocopied piece of paper with whatever insomnia, depression kind of reasons that you needed to smoke weed. And they would give it to you willingly and readily. And then within a week of it being legal, it's suddenly become harder to buy than ever. I don't know. You can only...
Yeah, don't get me started, man. It's that government red tape.
Yeah, definitely. And Ontario is a very, very strange province because it's kind of run by the Mormons. And you can't even buy alcohol here anywhere other than... I know there's a couple of states, like Hawaii for one, you have to buy liquor from the ABC stores, I think, and it's a little bit like here. You can only buy liquor from government-run liquor stores. Very strange. So there you go. I don't know. You got anything else to add while you're on the line, buddy?
Oh no, that was it, bud. I was trying to fill that 5 minutes.
No, well, you filled it very well. You've actually filled it for 7, so that's, and as I say, you know what these ladies are like with time when they're like, I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. They probably haven't even stepped in the shower or even begun to get ready. So, never rely on a woman's time frame.
I'm going to hold off on that. But I do appreciate it, yeah.
Okay, my man.
Like a joint, didn't even hit it.
All right, my man. Well, Puff, puff, pass to yourself. Have an inhale from me, my friend, and enjoy your joint in the rain. Thank you very much for calling. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the fam.
Indeed, brother. Peace, man.
Take care, my friend. Great call. Kevin, yeah, we like Kevin. So Anime, oh my God, every girl I've ever met, Anime, has told me they're not that type of girl. Hey, I'm not like other girls. Well, technically that is true, that, you know, you all have different DNA, but all girls have vaginas, so you're kind of all the same a little bit, just like all guys have penises. Although not so many of the guys these days, certainly not the bearded beaters that live in my neighborhood. So Anime, if you're home, Wheel of Thrift, and I saw Baby Pamplin saying that they're going to try and keep me here all night. Well, I'm a train hopper. Like, you really hop trains, like, and ride around? That would be something very interesting. I was. That's a story. Laurie, hello. You got a nutsack and a prepper baby. I have a vagina, and I'm proud of you for sharing that with us, Laurie. Thank you. And I have a penis, just in case you were wondering. So Anime, yeah, tell us all about your train hopping days, and you can spin the Wheel of Thrift if you're home. Henny, that was 7 minutes ago. Maryland marijuana review killed 7 minutes, so we give her an extra 2 minutes. And it's what I'm telling you, like, that they never rely on girls' time frame. The phone's ringing. Could this be Anime? Hello. Hello. There you are. I just pressed the speaker button just when you spoke. I didn't think it was working. Say hello again.
Hello.
And is this Anime?
This is she.
Hello and welcome. Now, I kind of dragged you here out of WV's channel a little bit. Hello, WV. She's not here in the chat room tonight for some reason, maybe broadcasting herself. But here you are. Welcome to the Thrift fam, and don't be shy.
So that was a very interesting segue moment for that call.
Segue moment? What? Explain.
Like, just as I was about to push the call button, you're like, and I have a penis. And I was like, what am I getting myself into here?
Well, goodness, again, that's something I've heard from not every girl I've ever met, but certainly quite a few of them. But no, we as like dear old Danny was saying, that we do have a little bit of grown up inappropriate humor. God, I can't speak. Look, you've got me all nervous and tongue tied. But yeah, we have fun here as much as possible, and certainly on the live feed, it sometimes you may get some really deep, meaningful truth bombs. Other days we might just be talking about vaginas and penises. It can go one way or another, Anime. It depends on what kind of is the vibe the Thrift fam stay out. So you used to be a train hopper. That's something that's very interesting to me. Like, you literally used to ride the rails, right?
Yes, sir. I still have my crew change. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how far and wide did you get to travel? This is fascinating.
Well, okay, so one of the things that I learned over the years is that you really want to travel with someone that's done it. So I got really lucky quite a few times in that I met old hobos that were willing to show me. Because if you do it wrong, you'll die.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. You've got to find the right place on the curve where the train's like slow and stuff like that, and you kind of got to jump on and off like outside of towns or stuff, because you can get arrested for it, right?
Yeah, that's the other aspect to it also, is that pre-Patriot Act here in the United States anyways, the bulls weren't necessarily federally mandated to behave a certain kind of way, and then after the Patriot Act and such happened, it's very much different. It's not a friendly ride the rails environment as much anymore.
No, well, one of my my hometown was a railway town. We were very influential in the railroad in revolution. My goodness, that was too many R's in one word, one sentence rather. But yeah, it's a railway. So I grew up with kind of trains, and the sound of trains was always something a little bit romantic. And I've had quite a few train trips to Europe, although I kind of went with a rail pass. I didn't jump on the trains, although we did jump the train to London a few times because there's only a few stops from my town.
You've done the version that I haven't done yet, and I really very much want to do at some point.
Well, you'd like to ride the rails around in Europe?
Yes, on that whole continent, there's 3 or 4 world famous rail lines. Right?
Yeah, well, there's the world famous Orient Express. And I actually was supposed to, many years ago, it was one of the first backpacking trips me and my buddies went on. I think it was actually the first time I went to Amsterdam, and we were supposed to be leaving Amsterdam to go to Munich, but we ate some edibles before we left Amsterdam and ended up in Vienna. But yeah, I don't know how that happened.
But, they look like fun.
But it's, the trains are something that I kind of love, and it's such a wonderful way to travel because you can see so much more than an aircraft, and you're not as claustrophobic as like a bus or a car, and you can walk up and down. And certainly in the olden days when you used to have those little private carriages, it was very very intimate and fun way to travel. You take your sandwiches and go to the seaside and stuff. But it was actually an episode of Alf, and I love Alf. He's everything I want to be in life. Alf, alien life form. You remember that little 80s guy from Melmac? Yeah, he's everything I want to be. He's the shit for me. But he was talking to Willie, which was the father figure of the comedy, and he used to ride the trains when he was younger. And Alf and Willie, they went off and they rode the trains, and they met a hobo, and it just seemed like, wow, the United States would be such a fucking great place to ride the trains. So anyway, you were telling us, how far and wide have you managed to travel?
Well, and to follow up with what you were talking about with the different spectrum of trains, we almost always forget to bring it up, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, is the electric streetcars and that aspect of the rail milieu, right? And I'm not entirely sure how deep into American corporate business practices. I could be in the weeds all day on that. But the destruction of the electric streetcars and the rise of GM and the internal combustion engine,
well,
and, so on and so forth.
Well,
right?
Sorry.
There's many facets to that world that I'm really interested in.
This is quite interesting.
What were you saying about the traveling?
No, sorry, forget the traveling. The streetcars. I'm in Toronto, and we have streetcars here. And there's a company called Lombardier that makes streetcars, I guess. Is
that the Spanish company?
I'm not sure who they are or what they are, but this is the company that Toronto Council and government, they did a deal with Lombardier to bring the new modern streetcars, because many of them here are very, very, they're kind of cool actually. They're a little bit kind of retro and vintage, like some of the older ones. But they did this deal where they were supposed to be getting 60 of these brand new sparkling fully automated. And it's great because if you get the new ones, they have this kind of honor system where they expect you to pay, and then they give you a little receipt for your proof of purchase as your ticket. And then the chances of seeing a fare inspector to ask to see this, it's maybe 9 out of 10 times you're never ever going to see one of these, probably even more. I hardly ever see the fare inspectors, and it's if the tree falls in the wood and nobody hears it, does it make a noise? If there's no guy that you have to provide proof of purchase to, do you really need proof of purchase? So I've been riding the streetcar for free ever since they got these new ones for 2 years, but the city ordered 60 and they only delivered 20 or something, and now there's millions, possibly even billions of dollars that have been wrapped up in this, and they're not delivering the streetcars. And kind of a little bit of what you were just saying about how they're trying to destabilize this is, wait a minute, maybe these two incidents are hand in glove. See, what did I tell you when Anakin met Palpatine?
Well, because there's a certain amount of my anger can be a very powerful tool, right? But I will not allow it to be provoked. So there's that mishmash. Because I had to go back and do a little bit of Star Wars research, because I was like, wait a minute, I should know that reference. And then as soon as I read it, I was, oh yeah, okay, got it.
There you go. Well, yeah, they were the force to be reckoned with within the force. But I'm guessing because you have the little anime. Do you like anime and kind of manga stuff? I'm just surmising here from your name. And I just.
Oh, as far as my name, that's one of the family's inside jokes. Because I put my name in there a certain kind of way, and then one of the earliest connections I made, one of my ladies was like, anime, and so everybody started calling me that, and then I privately was like, well, actually, it's this kind of way that my intention was something else. Because so it's anime now.
Okay, because you were the other day. That's what caught me off guard. But yeah, so you.
And I kind of like it because it makes sense, right? Because I am a lone wolf and cub as far as like the black and white pen style of comics.
Okay.
Whereas my daughter is more of like the Lolita, cutesy pie, younger variety of
Yeah. I kind of know.
You know what I mean?
That kind of Yu-Gi-Oh-y kind of style art. There seems to be all the younger cartoons seem to have that kind of Japanesey, Asian-y influence in it these days. Not like the good old days of the Hair Bear Bunch and Speed Buggy. Do you remember Speed Buggy? It was like the.
No, I'm like lone wolf and cub and like black and white.
Okay, well
I'm more in like the literature, the graphic novel world.
Right. Okay. Well, I was kind of raised a little bit on.
Films and cartoons. I'm like Studio Ghibli, 100%.
Okay.
That's all I know.
So you're a nerd then, really,
well,
a little bit.
You know, like the Akira. You know,
yeah,
like
I remember.
far
Oh my
back.
God, I watched that on Magic
Like
Mushrooms.
the graffiti artist.
Do you remember the giant teddy bear? Pang, pang, pang. Oh my God, I still have flashbacks about that.
So many graffiti artists will be forever influenced by that movie on mushrooms. Because you're not alone.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that you're supposed to do.
I'm a street artist, that's all. So.
Well, I also grew up with quite a few graffiti artists and DJs back in my hometown. So my goodness, we do seem to have some intertwining similarities. And this is what I'm saying: is nothing is ever for a reason, and the force will move in very strange, mysterious ways. So I wasn't just being whimsical in my nonsense when I was pinching you for the it's kind of like cherry picking, you know, when you kind of okay, that's somebody that's really going to make a difference in the thrift fam or be a good part of the thrift fam. So sometimes you got to cherry pick people, and we cherry picked you, Anime. I don't know if that's going to make you feel better or worse about yourself. I don't know. And if you're having any second thoughts on what you're getting yourself into, is it like on the upper side of that, or is it like, yeah, I need out, safety word, why doesn't anybody observe the safety word? And we don't have safety words here.
I have to admit that I am a West Coast pinko commie snowflake. So as long as you can love me for who I am.
We love anybody in the everybody in the thrift store or in the you know, who comes through the doors. We love them for who they are and who they are. You know, you have every right to be whoever you want to be outside of, you know, or inside yourself. You know, it's not wrong or right to be who you are. And just as the song went, the world don't move to just the beat of just one drum, right? What might be right for you may not be for some. I'm not going to start singing different strokes.
It sounds like you've traveled quite a bit.
I have traveled extensively around the world. I haven't ever really wanted to.
It opens your view up. You know what I mean?
I certainly think so. And I've also, like, kind of when I travel, like when I was a teenager, I was the stereotypical Brit on the piss. And all we'd do would go to a foreign country and then get violently drunk on cheap liquor and throw up in the streets. And probably try to have our wicked way with some local girls. I know it goes on.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, well, we kind of would do Saturdays and Sundays for 3 months straight in foreign countries. But as I kind of grew up older, like travel. That's the one kind of thing. That's what the Amish people do, right? When they let them go out and have a little bit of fun for a year or two. But travel, I believe, is the wealth, and knowledge is obtained from the people that you embrace yourself in. Sorry, no, that was good. I kind of didn't really hear what you were saying, but I did hear some sounds. If you want to repeat yourself, go ahead.
Oh, it was a softcore Amish joke.
Oh, okay. Are you Amish?
Gone wild. They're like sipping a coffee and looking around all sneaky.
Yeah, that would be like kind of
For them.
freebasing and drinking methadone by the gallon. For an Amish person, a Starbucks and a chicken McNugget. That would tip the scales of any Amish lad, I'm sure. And goodness gracious, if ever they walked past a Victoria's Secrets, the Amish blast in the pants would be quite considerable, I think. Anyway, so Anime, would you like to? Sorry, I was going to say we're going to play Wheel of Thrift, but yeah, I've travelled far and wide, and it's something I'd recommend anybody to do. And you know, sometimes it's not within our abilities, and even if you just travel to the other side of the town for a day or two, just to see what happens outside of your little neighbourhood, that can be as good as traveling to the other side of the world sometimes. So whereabouts?
And full disclosure, I think we should have maybe stuck with what the Amish were saying. As far as like the more I learn about prepping.
Yeah, the Amish. They still are onto something. They haven't really changed their habits for some years. And I've actually probably thought about maybe trying to do some Amish prepping things on this channel if I could, just for the humour. Amish preps. I don't know. But you shouldn't mock them.
My new cast iron cider press is on its way right now. I'm so excited.
Really? And they used to sell those Amish fireplaces on infomercials late at night when I was in the States. Because I lived down in California for some years myself. So I'm more West Coast than I am East Coast. Or southeastern? Is that even a direction? Yeah, southeastern. Yeah, Toronto, South Ontario. But it's not really East Coast because we're kind of not really close to the ocean or anything. But we have I'm right on the lake shore pretty much. It's like 5 minutes from my house to the lake shore, Lake Ontario. So yeah, I don't really feel I don't know what it is about Toronto. It kind of reminds me of my hometown that I tried very desperately hard to get away from. It just seems like a very bigger version of that. I don't know why, but maybe it's because like when I was in Cali, there were palm trees and beaches and mountains and stuff that weren't familiar to me. And many things in Canada are quite familiar. Certainly in Toronto, some of the streets could be London if you're at street level. So only when you look at the skyline that cities differ. But when you're in and among them and on the streets, they're pretty much the same. Especially with like the globalist, McDonald's and Starbucks and Foot Lockers and Gaps on every corner in every city. You don't really need to travel anywhere to see anything anymore, other than the history, which the North America kind of lacks, that Europe is has an abundance history. So anyway, Anime, do you want to play Wheel of Thrift? I don't know if you know how Wheel of Thrift works or not. It's a little bit like that show, what's the one, Wheel of Fortune. It could be almost Wheel of Misfortune, because you win some really crap prizes like ramen noodles or Slim Jims. There is a mystery bag and there is a star prize available. So what it does is we're going to ask you 5 questions, and it doesn't matter if you know them or not. Usually you will be helped out, and don't worry about the lose signs. You might lose one, but if you start losing too many, sometimes the wheel moves its way to what you want to win. So I don't know what I'm sorry, but there's no this guy here. I don't know if you can see him, the little binocular boy that sits on the fireplace. He's the world's smallest G.I. Joe, and I had some of him. He was the star prize, but most of the other biznatches that have been on this, that's what they wanted as their star prize. So that's not available, but I do have Shit Bubble Bath as an alternative. It's cherry bubblegum flavor, but it's got the poo emoji on it, and I just thought it was funny because it's like Shit Bubble Bath. So we'll ask you 5 questions. Every question you get right, you get a spin of the wheel. How does that sound, Anime?
Okay, so I want to negotiate for my super top prize if I win.
You haven't even fucking won it yet, negotiating.
I don't think I will, because I don't think I'm good at games.
Well, but if you've never seen Wheel of Thrift before, you don't really need to be good at anything, to be quite honest.
Okay, that'd be good.
So
But if I win the super duper prize, I want you to draw me a picture like with just a pen, and then do your John Hancock, and it'll be an autograph that will become very valuable in the future. You see
I can do. I'll throw that in as well. I mean, it's not going to be a very good picture, but I will do that for you.
No, like on a napkin, even with a napkin.
No, do you know what? I'm going to write it. You've got so much TSP terminology and humor to absorb, little anime. You're going to get a spring break. I bought some feminine hygiene products during spring break. Sanitary towels, and basically they were like big band-aids. I bought them like, if you had an injury or a wound, then this would be a really good way of dressing that wound if you're out in the open. You could use a feminine hygiene product. But people in recent...
Things designed for old ladies are always more comfortable, and that's my team.
There you go.
So, same thought process.
So those have become things that I've been sending out, signed sanitary towels, so I can draw a picture on one of those for you if you want. That's better than a napkin.
Oh, yeah. One and one is none. That's a double down, man. Let's do this.
I do like you. Okay, so I got to think of some questions. And although I am the thrift store prepper, I do go into these live shows totally unprepared. And most of these are made up. Like I just press go, and then what happens. There may be a little bit of content, and I'm only talking now.
Questions that you pull at us?
No, I haven't even thought of the questions yet. That's why I'm delaying it. I'm trying to think of a question while I'm talking to you. Okay, you're a little bit of a nerd. What was Spider-Man's real life alias?
Oh, let's see. Peter Parker.
It was Peter Parker. That's one spin of the wheel of thrift so far that you have.
I can't click it to the phone. How am I going to get my hand over there?
I do it for you.
Good.
It's just like sexting. You type all the things, and I end up doing all the work.
Gross.
Well, it's true. That's what happens. I mean, really and truly, you lose a hand in texting. It's like, that can come in handy sometimes. It's like, I'm holding the phone. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to Wheel of Thrift. I need another question. Okay, what was Superman's alias? You see where we're going with this? I'm clutching at straws. So in real life, what was Superman's? Not alias. What was his alias? Like, when he wasn't Superman, when he was working at the Daily Planet. Remember
I'm going to age myself now. Superman had a real name.
Yeah, he did. Like, there was even that show.
Superman.
No.
And it's not Lex something, because that's the only thing coming to mind right now.
Lex Luthor was the...
And
there was that show, Lois and that was about Lois Lane and Superman working at the Daily Planet. Dean Cain, that kind of guy, the hunky guy with the glasses.
Superman had a real name?
You didn't know this?
No, I'm going to lose this game. I don't remember. As soon as you say it, it'll be in the very front of my mind.
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
It was his alias.
I kept thinking Perry Mason for some reason because of the hair.
I'm just going to give you the spin for Perry Mason. Superman's alias was Perry Mason. That's going to make that show so much more interesting to watch now.
My God.
Clark Kent. Anime, we're making quite the double act here. There's lots of lols and happy smiley emojis in the chat, and that's right. See, you were shy. You're now kind of almost I'm not going to say my sidekick, but a special guest host for the duration of this call. So okay, we've got question 3. Let's try and think of something different. Who sang about kissing a girl and liking it because it tasted like cherry chapstick? And I actually don't know.
There's one song, I kissed the girl, I think I'll do it again.
I don't think it really sounds like that, but in your head it probably does.
Is that what you're talking about?
That was a song. I kissed a girl, I liked it. She tastes like cherry chapstick. Although it depends where you kiss her. Some of them do taste like shrimp ramen. Sorry.
No, I have not. hear about that. Can you give me a hint?
Do you want to?
That I would know?
Would you like to ask an audience member?
Yeah, ask a friend.
Okay, then
Come on,
ask Danielle, because she's giving you the answer in the chat right now. So Danielle's telling you Katy Perry. Do you want to take Danielle's ask a friend advice?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she knows what's happening.
She does.
Yes, I'm going to follow your read on this one.
Danielle.
No, but Deborah L is saying, oh no, and Marilyn says, ouch.
I think she's saying, oh no, about the ramen flavored girls, the shrimp ramen flavored girls.
Oh yeah, women that taste like ramen, that's ridiculous.
But not just any ramen, not chicken or beef. Sometimes they taste like.
I heard what you said.
Okay, I know you did. Cause I sent WV of a JJ ramen. It was a shrimp flavored one.
That was the most hilarious thing all day. You had me rolling on the floor.
And now look.
And her face got all flush and her cheeks got all pink.
I know we do like to make ladies blush a little bit, and that's why you're here now playing Wheel of Thrift. You're gonna get the experience that WV got of opening these prizes at some time. There could be some spicy cock soup heading your way. So where are we at? If you like spicy cock soup, are you a vegetarian?
She came in for the save. Was Katy Perry the thing?
Yeah, that's it. You've got your third one. You've got.
Three-pointer at the buzzer. Came in for the save. Nice.
Okay. So we're going for question 4 now. God, I don't even think of one. What car did Tom Selleck as Magnum PI drive? What car did Magnum as Tom Selleck? No, Tom Selleck is Magnum drive in the series. It was a red car. Very nice car.
I'm imagining like a Z28 or maybe a Camaro of some kind. Am I in the Camaro?
No, Ferrari.
It was like a muscly looking.
No, it wasn't. It was Italian in red. That's a clue. Baby Becky Pam, Italian red cars.
It was a Triumph. It was
Triumph for English.
The cylinder convertible soft top.
I've told you at least 4 times, and Baby Pamplin's also telling you.
Red.
It was an Italian Triumph. Triumph is English. It was a red. How many red Italian cars? It was a Ferrari. Just say Ferrari.
It was a Ferrari. That's what I was saying.
Okay, you're right. Sorry. We had some static on the line there. We couldn't quite hear what was going on. So question 5. We're gonna keep it.
Becky Pamplin saved my ass. Thank you,
Becky Pamplin saves. You know, Becky Pamplin once watched 35 of my episodes in one day. That's
nice.
I don't know. That's probably a little bit of too much time on her hands, I think. But I love her for doing it. She's getting a special binge watching award in excellence of outstanding field of something. I've forgotten what I called it, but she's getting some prizes also.
Yeah.
So, question 5.
Some brownies, they get those patches of accomplishment. If you started doing patches of accomplishment, I would totally put one on like one of my hoodies.
Well, I have thought I do need to get some T-shirts made, but patches of that's a good idea. Like you used to get them in the Boy Scouts as well, in the Cubs, as they used to be called. Like when you were young, you were a Cub, like they were like under 10, I think, and then when you grew up, you could be a Boy Scout.
From the Cubbies to the Boy Scouts to the Eagles. You betcha.
Oh, that was.
Obviously, I wasn't a Girl Scout.
No, but yeah, we had the brownies and the Girl Guides, and Anyway, question 5. What car did Marty McFly drive back to the future? What car did Marty McFly drive back to the future? This I'm hoping you know this one. This is kind of pop culture. You know,
and we had to return to these movies so many times recently because of the ins and outs of that. It was a DeLorean, right?
It was the DeLorean.
The doors that fly open like eagles wings?
I know. It's one of the coolest cars ever made. For me, the first coolest car of fiction in like TV and movies is the Griswold's station wagon from the Vacation. You know, the first one when they went to Wally World and they got that big ugly wood. That is the most cool. Like in the shit hitting the van situation, that car would be like a tank, as opposed to some of these little, plastic Rizzler paper type cars that they're putting out. So Anime, fantastic. You got 5 out of 5. So you get my hand's a little bit limp if from holding the phone up, so I'm gonna have to put you down. Although not like literally like a dog, not like old Yeller, the rabid dog that was beloved by all until he got rabid and then they had to take him out and shoot him.
Die on my feet rather than live on my knees. Take me up behind the barn.
I'd love to take you up behind the barn. But anyway, let's move on. We're down to 20 people. We lost 15 people through the duration of this live feed. So we're going to spin the wheel of thrift for the first time. And you've got your eye, obviously, on the star prize. You're going to get some prizes. It doesn't matter. So that was a terrible spin. But you've won a Romin. You've run a Romin. I'm going to send you a fancy Romin, not a Dollarama Romin or a recently acquired 10-cent Romin. You're going to get a fancy one. I don't know what flavors are left, but we don't have any vajayjay flavor ones at the moment. So your first spin brought you a Romin. Why did you?
I really wanted that in my mouth.
Just because you said that, actually, I'm telling a lie. I do have. I can send you one of the 10-cent shrimp flavor ones.
Please don't.
There you go. You said you wanted to get the vajayjay flavor Romin in your mouth. I don't like to displease women.
One of those clenched teeth smiles, though.
What was that? Sorry? You want a beef stick to...
I'm being smarty pants.
No, we encourage people being smarty pants on this channel. Anime. My goodness.
No, when you call in to talk about prepping.
This is what I'm saying. Everything... Well, yeah, you were. We didn't even get the chance to talk about prepping. We've had much fun talking about the trains. And look at you giggling.
No, I want to know more about this wheel of thrift. How's this stuff? You're going to flip it?
Well,
it's like quicker, right?
It's more like Wheel of Fortune, you know, one, or maybe The Price is Right when they spin it and they have to get I don't know. I got this from Weird Al Yankovic movie, UHF, when he gave his buddy, the karate dude, Uni, his own show, and he made a show called Wheel of Fish, where lucky contestants got to win their weight in fish. You don't get to win fish, but you have won a fish-flavored Romin. So this is where the inspiration comes from. UHF Wheel of Fish. This is Wheel of Thrift. You're Anime. You're our contestant. Let's spin it for the second time. I should get some sound effects and drum rolls for this, but we're going to spin it again. Oh, you've won a tiny little shit. That the wind blew it onto a tiny little shit. So you won a tiny little shit as your second spin. How does that sound? Let's go for the third spin. That was a good spin, actually. And that's a meat stick, although I don't think I've got any. I have to look in the pantry to see if I've got a meat stick to send you. So you've got a Romin, a little shit, and a meat stick so far, Anime. So let's give you another spin. That wasn't such a good one. What did that land on? Oh, it landed on the star prize. Look at you. You won the star prize. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to get the star prizes. It might take long. I've put the Romin on top of them. I didn't think this through.
There's a little bit of an echo.
Sorry, I was just going to get that. Somebody's speaking a foreign language in the chat. So, star prizes at the minute. Here they are. Here are you're going to get one of those anyway. A signed sanitary towel. So at the minute, the only thing I can really offer you as a star prize is a squidgy shit, just like Little Shit. That's his name. That's Little Shit. And that's another version of him. Or you can win the shit bubble bath. There it is. Look, shit bubble bath. I've dropped the phone. Or you can win a shit bag. It's a rainbow poo thing you could put makeup in. So what star prize would you like? Hello?
What do you think, guys?
Oh.
Which one should I choose?
Up to you. Anytime, while we're young, that would be appreciated. We have got a couple of people over 60 in the audience. Are you still there, Anime? Have we lost you?
I am still here. I'm having a little bit of an echo, though, so it's a little bit difficult to focus.
Okay, sorry. Well, would you like the shit bag, the shit bubble bath, or the little shit?
Oh, I like the little shit. I think he's cute.
Okay, you want to get the little shit then. That's good, because this weighs quite a lot, and it might get... I don't think you're allowed to send liquids. Would you also like MRE heater ration that doesn't actually heat? It's the ration heater, but
Wait, it doesn't actually heat? It's like the ones that come with my MRE then?
yeah, I bought a case of almost out-of-date MREs for $35, and I haven't been able to get one to work. But you can have one of those as well if you want. So yeah, that's it. What's that? That was that the third or the fourth spin? I can't remember. That was the fourth, right? I think so. I can't hear it. We're losing anime. Maybe the Wheel of Thrift is too much for her, and the prizes have just made her collapse and faint. That sometimes happens. So I'm going to spin it for the fifth time. If you're there or not, I don't know. And you want to rom in.
I've pushed pause on the. I was trying to watch you at the same time as talk, and it's just echoey too much. So I'm just going to give you my full attention and not watch the chat. Is that okay?
That's perfect. I spin that again, but I was going to get it landed on nutsack. So you're going to get a nutsack as well. I'm going to have to get those out, but those are my homemade trail mix. So you're going to get a nutsack, a little shit, of a JJ Romin, a signed sanitary towel, a bonus prize of a heatless ration paper heater. I don't know where the spicy cock soup is. You might be getting one of those as well, Anime. So is there anything else you want to say before we let you go? Because this is a 35-minute phone call. My goodness.
Holy moly, I'm so sorry.
No, I don't mind. I'm just saying this is good. That's just given us extra minutes on my viewing time. And also been 30 minutes of extended entertainment for the Thrift fam. So you've done a great job.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. One thing that I would really like to emphasize, maybe not in this call, but in a later call, is to put it out there for you guys that prepping is really not as hard as people would like to make it seem. Like, some of this food, you can just put it in a bucket and it'll last 30 years. You set it, forget it, and you won't even remember it's there until you need it, right?
That's some wonderful advice.
It's really important. The food prices are volatile at best, we'll say.
Exactly. Buy, if you can, like the Alaska Prepper says, like I say, if you can buy it cheap and it goes up, then, you've got it there. Pay pennies on the dollars now, because who knows what tomorrow is going to bring. And you're very right. It's one of the many things that stops people, I think, from prepping is themselves, and they overcomplicate it and they overthink it. And, a little bit of what I try to do is making this funny, is just, look, if I can do it, you can do it, kind of thing. So that is a wonderful bit of advice to end such a wonderful call. And for sure, Anime, you are going to be back as another caller, and you can give us some more prepping hints then. So thank you. You were an amazing, wonderful, awesome caller. I think everybody in the audience loves you. And at some point, you're going to have to give me your details so I can get your ship prizes out to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this chat, because a lot of this stuff is really heavy and we get so bogged down with it. And so for you to be able to lighten it up and we could talk a little trash and laugh a little bit, I really do appreciate that a lot.
I do. And I think that is the unique part of this channel, and not just the channel, the people that watch this channel. You all come here, you're all funny, you're all good natured and good spirited, and as you mentioned, there's so much kind of dark, dank, depressing news in this kind of community. Laughter is the best medicine. So on that note, thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you again. Go and have fun in the chat with the rest of the gang, and you're part of the furniture now, Anime. Everyone loves you. We love you at the thrift store. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Stay safe, guys. Shoot straight. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wasn't that fun, people? And we're up to 2 hours and 27 minutes, which is almost perfect for me to round it up at 2 hours and 30. So, guys, what did you think of tonight's show? Fun? Not fun? give up, subscribe, and I'm not subscribe, give up. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I am in much need of a smoke and a piss. Actually, did well to get through tonight's without needing a bathroom break. But everybody out there seems to enjoy tonight's show, and every now and then I think we do need to just throw off a little bit of steam and have some fun and laugh and joke, just like we did tonight. And as I said, welcome to our new family member, Anime. And anyone else that was new tonight, welcome. And hopefully we can get you on the phone for the next phone call. So I do have some other videos that I have plans to make, one of which will be an MRE review. So no, we're not going on a field trip tonight. I'm going to go and relieve myself, roll, and then think about what MRE I'm going to eat for my supper. So, Thrift fam, what are we up? 28:49. So we just got a minute left to say our goodbyes, everyone. It's been a great Tuesday. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for our callers. Thanks for the wenches out there that do such a great job moderating, although there's nothing to moderate when you've got great audiences. Being at the thrift store is easy. So Sings a Lot, Canham, Jasper, Henley, Crying Hippie, Granny C, Maryland Marijuana, loved your call also, my friend. Thanks for filling the gap there, and we certainly want to hear from you again. And don't be strangers. Jose, I don't know if I called you or said hello. Glad that you were in the Thrift fam tonight. So that's it, 20 seconds left before the 2 hours and 30 minutes. Hopefully this is going to take me over the 200,000 minute mark, people. Something I forgot to mention, the TSP is close to the 200 minute mark, probably past it now. So celebrations to be had soon. That's it. 5, 4, good night. Ship video production, Thrift Store Prepper, next time.